Hey everyone, welcome to Just Win with Wanda, a podcast designed to highlight people and their game winning passions. I'm excited about our guest. She's someone that I happen to follow on Instagram, and I'm sure a few of you all do as well. Her name is Amanda Finesse. Some stats about Amanda: she has 21.5 thousand followers on Instagram, and these are legitimate followers, people. She's a blogger and a style and beauty influencer. She's also a personal shopper, and she's based in New York City. So we know that she is really in the midst of where it's all happening when it comes to fashion. She's also been featured on Essence in terms of endorsements. She's had amazing opportunities with HP, Oscar de la Renta, Budweiser, Coach, Becca Cosmetics, to name a few. And something that I thought was really cool was if you are a viewer of BET or Black Girls Rock, you may have even seen her sitting next to Angela Bassett during the award ceremony. So I'm really pleased to welcome Amanda Finesse to Just Win with Wanda.
Hi
Welcome,
guys, thank
Amanda.
you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm super excited.
Yeah, no problem. I'm super happy to have you on the show as well. So before we kind of dive into the questions, just wanted to give you the opportunity to fill in any gaps that I may have missed in terms of your bio.
Okay, well, first off, I am first generation Nigerian American. Woohoo, Nigeria
Woo!
stand up. So yeah, I try to take my heritage and my culture wherever I go. But I think you pretty much got a whole bunch of, you hit all of the points on the head. I was on BT Black Girls Rock. In addition to being featured on Essence, I was featured on Harper's Bazaar online for one of my New York Fashion Week looks. I've also collaborated with Maybelline. You said Becca Cosmetics. I think that you hit a lot of the points. Who else? Clarins. Yeah.
Great. So that's amazing that you've had those opportunities, and I'm sure a lot of viewers they want to know how to get started, or even a few of them may not even know what it means to be an influencer or a content curator. Do you mind sharing with the group what it means to be an influencer?
Sure. So an influencer is somebody that shares their viewpoints on whatever topics, whether it's fashion, lifestyle, sports, entertainment, what have you, and sort of quote unquote influences people to I guess sort of buy into those products or services or, product recommendations, different things that are happening in the world, stuff like that. So an influencer creates content and puts it out in a digital space for others to see and sort of follow or like be inspired by it. That's what I think an influencer does.
Okay, that sounds good. And so on my social media platform, I see a lot of people use different terms like digital content curator or curator or influencer. Is there is it just them taking on the terminology themselves and trying to make it unique, or is there really a difference between all of these different words that we see out there?
Well, I feel like there is a little bit of a difference between the different terminology. Like, for example, like content creator, content curator. Um, they're creating content in different spaces, whether it's like pictures, photos, videos, and maybe they're not necessarily just doing it for themselves, but also creating it for different companies and different brands, collaborations. So sometimes I do that as well. So I'm not just creating content for myself, but for other brands as well. And like a digital influencer, I mean, they sort of do a little bit, they do a lot of content creation, but also, how do I put this? I don't know how to explain the difference. Digital like influencer, hmm. Well, I guess it goes hand in hand. Like they do a little bit of both, but a content creator
Okay.
is not necessarily an influencer because you can create content but not use it in a way to influence the masses. You're just, you can create content, like I said, for brands and things like that, which is what some people just do that. But they themselves are not influencing anybody. They're just creating the content.
Okay, that's a good way to break it down. Because sometimes when I see those terminologies, I'm not exactly sure, what the real definition is as it's becoming
Mhm.
it's kind of fresh on the market. People, like 10 years ago, I don't know if we had content curators, so it's hard to really
That's
pinpoint
true.
a specific definition, but I think you did a great job. So let's kind of backtrack. You mentioned that you are first generation Nigerian. So what
Yes.
inspired you to become an influencer?
I can't even say that I was inspired to be an influencer. It sort of just happened from my love of fashion and sharing different things that I loved about fashion and beauty online, and just sharing my love for putting outfits together and different makeup products that I liked. And it just sort of blossomed from there. With the start of YouTube and people becoming famous off of YouTube, there was a really famous YouTube beauty blogger. I'm trying to remember what her name was, but she was like one of the first beauty bloggers to get famous from YouTube. And when I saw her, and I was like, I didn't know that being an influencer, like a online blogger, was a thing. Because at that time, it was just, people were just posting things online for fun. It wasn't really, there weren't really influencers. There weren't really like bloggers like that. So once I saw that, it sort of inspired me because I was like, this is sort of the same thing that I already do, but this girl's getting paid for it. So why can't I? And at first it started as another way to monetize my content, but then it developed into something that I just really loved sharing the things that I liked. And I just really loved sharing my outfits. And people were asking for more of it. And, different brands and companies were responding well to my reviews and things that I was posting online. And then I just ran with it from there.
Mhm. And that's a story that I've heard with a lot of influencers, when they get those questions about how they got started, it sounds like it was very organic. They already had some
Mhm.
sort of base following, where people were just intrigued by whatever it was they were doing, whether it's fashion or photography. Would you say that's typically the story in terms of influencers, or do you think some people can start from scratch, start from no followers and build their way up?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. You can definitely start with no followers and build your way up. But the thing with being an influencer is you can't do it just because you want the perks or you just want the money. I feel like the most successful influencers are people that already have a love and a passion for whatever they're talking about. They already like to, share that kind of information or that kind of content centered around that certain subject. And they come off more genuine, and people already, take a liking to them because their content is more organic instead of people just posting because, hey, I'm trying to get this free product, or I'm posting this because I want to get the money for it. I don't think that that's how you should start your influencer journey. It really has to start from a place of love and passion.
Mhm. So you're essentially saying that the consumer is more intelligent than you think, right? In my mind, if I know that people
Definitely.
can get yeah, people can get very critical in the comments, and you can kind of tell when in like the endorsements and the advertisements when they don't use the products themselves, or
Right.
it's just for the monetary aspect of things. I'm curious in terms of, the different we talked about, you have content curators, content creators, and then you have influencers, bloggers. But in terms of niches and just areas of focus, because I've seen that as well. Like
Mm.
for example, you're a style and beauty influencer. How do people narrow down what they want to focus on? Is it solely based on passion, or is there another element that they consider?
I want to say it should be solely based on passion. Like I said, a huge part of being an influencer is just being genuine. And people can tell when you're not being genuine or when you are just doing things for clout. So definitely, like, your niche should be based off of things that you're passionate about and things that you have a love for. So for me, fashion and beauty, that's something that I've been talking about for forever before I was an influencer. So that just became natural to me to niche down to that.
Okay. And could you also describe the difference between a micro and a macro influencer?
The macro influencers, there's going to be, for people that don't know, like your really, really big influencers, almost like celebrity status between 100K and a million followers. And micro influencers have a smaller following between 10K and 100 K followers. So I would be considered a micro influencer. And right now, in this day and age, a lot of companies want to use micro influencers because people that have the smaller following tend to have like a more genuine connection or a closer connection to their followers versus people with these huge followings, and they can't connect personally with their followers because they just have so many. It's not possible. And also, people are more likely to believe a micro influencer when they endorse something versus a macro. I mean, if you think about it, if a celebrity was given, okay, I don't know, for example, some kind of drink to endorse, and they're like, hey,
Mhm.
everybody should drink this. Everybody automatically will think, like, this person does not actually drink this. They're a celebrity and they're getting paid to promote this product. Versus somebody that doesn't have that many well, 10K is still a lot of followers. For someone with a less amount of following, you're more likely to believe them because even though they have that big following, you're just like, okay, well, you're not like a celebrity that's just getting paid out here to promote anything. Like maybe you do actually drink this, and I'm gonna look into this. Micro influencers also have the tendency to, like I said, they have a closer relationship with their followers. You'll notice that they're the ones that can respond to almost every comment. They're more engaged versus a macro influencer, like a celebrity. Like how often do you see them interacting with their following? So for a lot of companies, depending on the end goal of whatever product they're trying to promote, using a micro influencer is a lot more beneficial.
I know that this is a hot question. People really
Hmm.
want to know, is it possible for you to make $1 million off of social media? I know that there's some videos out there, but some people just
Hmm.
cannot wrap their minds around the fact that it is possible. So can you break that down for us? And do you actually like know of people that have reached that milestone?
All right. So I definitely think that it's possible to make $1 million off of social media. I do not personally know people that have made it yet, but I know that there are people that are well on their way to making it. Now, when you're talking about monetizing social media, it's going to be more than just getting paid to post something on Instagram. There's a lot more ways to monetize social media and digital content past sponsored ads or sponsored posts. And that's what people don't really think about a lot of the time. They just think it's just paid endorsements. So I know people that are getting paid, let's say on the low end, like 2K for one social media post. And these are not even people that are celebrities. They're not macro influencers with more than 100K followers. Maybe they're micro influencers, and maybe they even have 12K followers. But they're able to monetize, and depending on what client or company they're working for, they're able to charge that amount per post because of the kind of return or investment that they help that company make on that post. So what am I talking about? It's not just likes, but say maybe it's like a product that they are posting and they are like sort of endorsing, and they help that company now turn the likes and the followers and comments and help them turn it into sales and profit. So now they just made this company a whole bunch of money, and because they are able to convert their followers to customers for that company, they're able to charge that much because the company is now getting a huge return on their investment. So that's one. But also social media, there's Instagram lives, there's IGTV videos, different things about like that. You got to think about like digital hosting. There are a lot of people that get paid a lot to host like Instagram live takeovers or host like web seminars. So that's another way that you can monetize as well. So it's not, like I said, it's not just getting paid to post per post or whatever that you're doing, but think about the different ways of or the different types of digital content that you can create and how you can monetize on that. Even digital courses. I know people that get paid, like they'll might run like a course for like, let's say $800 and have 80 students in that course, and this course is for 6 weeks. Now when you think about it, they're able to do this because of their following. They're able to do this because of the credibility that they've built And people believe them because they see within that own person's page all the different endorsements and things that they got, and now they want to learn about it. So if I just do the math really quick, like 800 times 80, and this is a true story because of this, I took a course like that over quarantine, $64,000 in
Wow.
6 weeks. And it's not like this is unattainable. This is one person that I know that did this. So if this person offered this course, let's say 5 times a year, that's already through over 300K in 1 year, over 5 6 week courses. That's not even the whole
Wow.
year. So yeah, so it's to make a million off of social media, it's definitely possible. That's just courses. Then not to talk about what they're getting paid per post, not to talk about what they're getting paid to host Instagram live sessions or host like webinars for certain companies or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely possible. It's all in your marketing and your consistency and the kind of relationships that you maintain with different companies.
Mhm. No, thanks for breaking that down. That's a question that I have to sometimes answer. I'm not even an influencer, but I try to convince like my friends that it is possible because I follow like Patricia Bright and Jackie
Yes.
Aya, and you can see the different avenues that they're going into. Um,
Right.
Speaking of them, so I saw that Jackie, she now has this candle line. Um, is that something that you've considered doing, like branching outside of Instagram and looking into other avenues?
Definitely. So that has always been on my mind. I don't think that you definitely shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. But the other thing about being an influencer is that if there is any product or venture that you're trying to do for yourself, you now have an audience that you can or, already promote to and that already believes in you, so that will help give you leverage for customers for whatever you're trying to create. So I do have a clothing line in the works.
Nice.
Um,
An
yeah.
exclusive.
Yes, an exclusive. I do have a clothing line in the works, and also working on selling different accessories and clothing, sort of like things that I have worn and styled myself, because people are always like, "Where did you get this? Where did you buy that?" And sort of like there's this girl that sort of already does something like that. Like she's a fashion blogger. I forgot what her name is Jordan, but her account, she has another account called like What Jordy Wore, and it's selling things that she has worn herself and like styled. So say for example, if you wanted the same sunglasses that she wore in whatever outfit, like she's selling those sunglasses on her site and you can get them too. So I'm also working on a separate little online store of different cool like accessories and clothing that you can buy as well. So
That's awesome, Amanda. I think you can definitely
yeah.
tell your parents that you're an entrepreneur at that point because you have products.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of talked about the budget and income potential, which is a common question. So something else that I know that viewers would want to understand and get
Mhm.
insight on is the community of social media influencers. We see you all, taking pictures with each other, maybe attending events with each other. Kind of talk to us about those relationships. And if you have any interesting short stories, feel free to share those as well.
Yeah, so it's definitely really important to have a strong community within the influencer realm. Not only is it fun for fellowship and friendship, but these people are people that are doing the same thing as you, and they can understand the different difficulties and things that you're going through. It's really cool because you also have people to get different like advice and troubleshoot different things, and they would understand what you're talking about. And so I definitely have a lot of influencer and blogger friends that I've never met in real life, but they're just like a regular friend all the same. And even I know there's this one girl that I met her on Facebook through a group like I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago, and we had never met in person until last year when I went to Cali, where she lives, around where she lives, and we met up. And it was like amazing because it's like, okay, like this is not just like an online friend. This is a real. person that you have a friendship with and you guys can lean on each other. And so when you see different things like that, like the people taking pictures together, it's not just superficial, just for the gram, like we all look good, black girl magic, whatever, whatever. But it's really important to have the community, like I said, of people that understand the same thing that you're going through. So,
That's good. That's good to see. And I think it speaks to there being enough space for everyone to win and everyone to be
yes,
great.
yes,
And you
exactly.
may not always see that in other industries, but it's nice to see that among social media influencers.
Yeah,
Because,
I
like you
definitely think.
mentioned, go ahead, go ahead. Mhm.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I definitely think that it is important. It's nice because a lot of my influencer friends, like none of us are in competition with the other. You're out there, you're commenting and engaging on each other's content, you're sharing each other's work, and it's a lot. I find that it's a lot more collaborative versus competitive, like than other industries. Like you would think, like okay, like people would be really jealous of each other and okay, you have more followers than me and your post got more like it's nothing like
Mhm.
that. At least not for me. I don't haven't run into that. It's all love and it's all helping each other, which is amazing.
That's good. All right, Amanda. So take us through your typical day. You wake up. I don't know if you wake up with an alarm or if it's the light, but take us from start to finish. How is a typical day for Amanda Finesse?
So a typical day consists of about three different alarms because I will admit sometimes I'm not a morning person. But yes, wake up, make my bed, say my prayers, of course. Thank God for waking me up. Make breakfast, coffee, and then I sit down and I have a planner and I write down the different goals and tasks for things that I want to get accomplished that day. And then I start working on them. Usually involves looking through Instagram, not baseless scrolling just to look at things, but it helps me to get inspiration for different kinds of content that I should create. And then I also spend some time on Pinterest, like pinning different outfit ideas and things like that. I have a content creation calendar, so then I look on that and see like, okay, what kind of content ideas can I knock out for today? And then it involves a couple hours of shooting. Yes, hours. Shooting content takes a lot of work. It really does, and people. That's one thing that people need to understand. It's not just like take some selfies today. Like it takes a lot of planning. So usually one day is like a lot of planning, then the next day would be the execution of shooting everything. And then some editing, and then I usually spend some time again on Instagram, but this time interacting and engaging with other people's content. Which I'll just take a second to say that this is another really important key in being an influencer. You cannot post things and expect people to just, I mean, people will love it, people will comment, but you can't expect that kind of love all the time without you reciprocating it back for other people. So it's sort of like not like a I scratch your back, you scratch mine, but just, showing love to the people that show love back to you. So I usually spend some time doing that. And then it's a wind down period, watching TV, go to sleep.
Okay, so that sounds like a typical like 9 to 5 in terms of the timeline, not the activity. So that's good.
Yes.
I think sometimes, like you mentioned, people don't really know how much preparation it takes to develop content. Do you ever have moments where you're just mentally drained and checked out?
I mean, I'm not always inspired. I would definitely say that. I do have a lot of moments where I'm not inspired, maybe because I had a crazy day and I'm really tired and mentally I just have such like a creative block. But to that point, again, using Instagram and Pinterest as points of inspiration is very, very helpful for me. Whenever I'm stuck, because I'm a fashion influencer, whenever I'm stuck on like outfits and things that I want to shoot, I go to Pinterest and I just scroll through and I save different photos of things that I like. And from there, it sparks something. I'll go to Instagram and I'll look through like, I don't know what kind of video content I need to create. Then I'll go through and I'll look through the reels and different video and get some ideas there. So using those platforms not only as like a space to interact with other people, but to gain inspiration is super helpful. And so I say that, anybody that's having any kind of creative blocks, think about Instagram and Pinterest as points of inspiration as well.
Mhm. Great tips. Something else that I hear is a concern for those that are hesitant to enter into this field is the negativity that may come in your comments or the judgment, potential haters on social media. How do you deal with that?
Block. No, I'm just kidding. Um, okay, so with anything in life, whether it is real life or in the social media space, the digital realm, you're gonna have haters. You're not gonna be for everybody, not everybody's gonna love you. The first thing first is creating this strong self of self and self-confidence to just be able to dismiss any kind of negativity that comes your way. If you go in with the mentality that everybody has to love you and everything's going to be great, you're going to be upset because that's not how life is. So in the digital space too, we do have a lot of keyboard warriors and people that will say all kinds of things to bully you, but you just got to remember who you are. At the end of the day, like I said, you're that chick, you're that person. Like, I don't know, that's just the mentality that I have. And any kind of negativity that I come across, I can't take it personally because I know where I started and where I'm at, and that's motivation enough for me.
Mhm. That's good, and I think what you said goes for any profession. You're always gonna have critics the more you climb and the more you reach success, so, it's really unfortunate when I read about influencers that have some sort of mental breakdown or they allowed the criticism to get to their head and they just couldn't handle it anymore.
Yes.
So within your group of friends or your colleagues, do a lot of you all seek, like, therapy or have like some type of mental health routine to get your mind in the right place?
So I don't know anybody in my circle, and I myself do not go to therapy. But again, this is where having like a strong core of people to talk to, whether it's like friends in the real world or your friends within the digital realm or whatever, people that you meet online, that's where having that support system really comes in handy. Because if there is any time that I'm ever feeling down or feeling like defeated or something, we sort of lean on each other to discuss our problems. And then also it's important to also take breaks. I take breaks from social media because sometimes it gets overwhelming. And when I say take a break, it doesn't mean that, you have to announce, oh, I'm not going to be making posts and doing this. I'm taking a break. Like, you don't need to do all that. But like, I hate it when people are like, I'm taking a break. I'm like, okay, that's great for you. But like, you don't have to announce it, but it's just unplugging and just doing other things that sort of take your mind off of the nuances of social media. It's really important. I mean, like you said, you see different bloggers and influencers having these mental breakdowns, and I think it's because they are too invested in the digital space. They're way too invested in their online presence and those kinds of things. And at the end of the day, social media is fun, content creation is fun, but it's also not the real world.
Mhm.
We do have we all have lives outside of the online space, no matter how much being an influencer takes of your time. You just got to remember that it's just a platform or a way to express yourself, but it's not the end all be all. So me having these times where I'm just like, I'll observe, but I'm not gonna post anything for like a couple of days. I'm just gonna take a break. Like that's very important. And I think that when people are trying to be influencers, they think it's about being online all the time, being present all the time, posting things all the time. And no, I think that's how you actually get burnt out, and that's how you can get crazy about the different things that happen online.
Mhm. That's great insight, Amanda. All right, so we're gonna kind of turn it a little bit more positive.
Okay.
So what has been your biggest accomplishment so far?
Ooh.
This might be tough because I know you've done so much in a short amount of time.
I mean that's tough because I'm trying to think that there's like so many different ways that I can take that. Like my
Take it
biggest
however you wanna take it.
yeah, I mean the moment that I had sitting next to Angela Bassett at the Black Girls Rock, that was like that was a really crazy life experience. That was amazing. And I was sitting there at the award show next to her for how many hours and just talking to her, and she was so cool, like a regular person. And then when I saw the final taping of the award show and I had screen time like by myself, I was like, this is so crazy. And people were like messaging me and like posting like I saw you on this on TV, and I was like, this is wild. I don't even know how that happened. I mean, so that was really cool, but biggest accomplishment, I don't know. You know what? The biggest accomplishment, I will say it's not even necessarily one thing, but just collectively where I am compared to where I used to be. I'll tell you a story. Growing up, I used to get bullied a lot for my dark skin. I used to get bullied for being Nigerian. I was bullied for being smart, just so stupid. And so I had very, very low self-esteem. I had like no self-confidence. I hated my skin tone. I wanted to be lighter skin. I didn't want to be Nigerian. I just wanted to be American. I didn't want to be in the top of my class because people were like making fun of me for it. And to be where I am right now, just even doing the modeling stuff, and people see my work and like, yes, work, fierce, confidence, I love it. And I'm like, if you had known me as a kid, you would never think that this was the same girl. So for me, that's super important. That whole journey and everything that I went through and overcoming all those issues to just even present myself as the woman I am today, that is my biggest accomplishment because I never would have thought that I would even be in this space. I never thought I would be Amanda Finesse. Like it's that in itself is crazy to me. So that for me, my biggest accomplishment.
I just wanna give you a hug. That's amazing. I
Thank
think
you.
just like you said, the journey to develop self-confidence and in return pour that love back into, younger people that are seeing you and seeing the beauty of your skin, seeing you exude confidence and not stand in your own way. I think that's incredible. So that complete
Thank you.
360 is something to be very happy about. So I'm definitely one of your biggest fans. I am
Oh,
gonna
thank you.
continue to like and share your posts because I think you're
Thank
doing
you.
incredible things. Um, Hearing a lot of things about these algorithms, right? I think that
Mhm.
was probably one of the hottest terms of 2020 is the Instagram
Yes.
algorithm. So, can you talk to us about what the algorithm is and how it's impacting your day to day?
Yes. So the old Instagram algorithm used to be that you would be shown people's posts in the order in which it was posted. That was what it was when Instagram first came out. Now the algorithm basically shows you whoever's posts you interact with the most. But that would have to say like that you're posting a lot or posting consistently, one, which sometimes doesn't help because not everyone's consistent. But also people would have to actively, well, first of all, if you save someone's post, that's the most impactful because it shows Instagram that like you really love this content and you really want to see more of this person. Then also sharing it as well is the next impactful, liking and then commenting. So, when someone sees someone's post, like how often do they do all of these things? They don't. I mean, I save and I share things because, I save things for inspiration, like I said, which is another way to stay inspired. And um, so I save things for inspiration. I share things on my stories because it also helps with building community and building, I guess, like a love for each other's work and things like that. But the algorithm, definitely like the most talked about word of 2020. The algorithm sucks, but also you have to work with it. So everybody that's like complaining about the algorithm also might not be doing the things that they need to do to combat the algorithm. You know, if you're doing the bare minimum and then not getting any engagement or not getting any attention on your posts, you can't really blame the algorithm for that. You also have to like check off and see like, okay, when am I posting consistently? Am I engaging with other people's content? So not just liking it, but saving it, sharing it. Am I like writing meaningful comments or answering whatever questions they put in their captions? So not just like love it, but you know, someone asks a question in their caption, like answer it. It shows that you're engaged with their stuff. Um, so yeah, and also like things like figuring out like what are your peak times to post that will help quote unquote beat the algorithm as well. So, I mean, at one point, yes, I was very frustrated with the algorithm as well. But like I said, you have to know how to work around it and work with it, not just doing the bare minimum and thinking that, you know, Instagram is just against you and it's out to get you. Because that's not what it is. But really, I think the algorithm nowadays is what they're trying to do is show you things that you're more interested in versus like everybody's content. They're trying to niche down your feed so that it's not just random things that you don't care to see.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
All right. So my last question, Amanda, is what final tips do you have for the individuals out there that are aspiring to be an influencer? I feel like you've given so many, but if you had to narrow it down to, top 5 tips, what would they be?
Okay, top 5. Number 1, if you're trying to be an influencer, let it be from a place of love for whatever space you're trying to, you know, be an influencer about, and not for money or for greed. Like I said, you know, don't be an influencer because you want the free stuff, or don't do it because you're trying to get paid to make posts about things that you don't even care about. But do it from a place of love, and have a genuine love and interest for whatever field you're trying to talk about. 2, be genuine, which sort of piggybacks off of number 1, but just be your authentic self. You know, don't look at what you think an influencer should post or the kind of things that they should say. Just do you, because people will like you more and be more inclined to gravitate towards you if you're just yourself, and don't try to fit into whatever box you think you need to fit into. Just do you. 3, be consistent. That is the number one thing with being an influencer, and that's something that separates an influencer from people that just post randomly. You have to be consistent. You can't just post something one day and then disappear for like 2 weeks and then post something else. You have to keep it up. It takes a lot of hard work, but you have to keep it up. Um, Number 4, I would say be intentional about the things that you're posting and make sure that you are planning. So, I don't know, like I always have a plan. And if you are confused, look up like content calendars, because that will help you to plan out your posts. And you can't, not that you can't get stunts, but it will help you to not get stunts on different things to post. And number 5, just remember, always have fun. I would say that's one of my biggest things. Like, being an influencer is cool, but like if you're not having fun with it, you need to, you know, stop and reevaluate what you're doing, or see if you really want to be an influencer. I think at the base level of it, I don't know, being an influencer to me is like a perk or like a benefit of you already promoting the things that you like. So if at any point being an influencer is like stressful or it's like not fun anymore, you need to see like, okay, is this for me, or what can I do to take me back to that place where I, you know, place of love where everything was cool. Because that's something also that I know I struggle with sometimes. Like, maybe like sometimes there are like some companies reach out and they want you to do a sponsored post or something like that, and you're looking it over and you're like, this doesn't really seem like fun. I don't like this. This is whatever. And if it ever gets like that to you, you have to reevaluate why you're doing it. And if the action is not matching up with your why, then don't do it, if that makes
Perfect. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. If it's off brand, don't do it.
Yes, exactly.
Off of your personal brand, not, the paid brand.
Yes.
Yeah. But thanks, Amanda, for those great tips and also
You're
answering all of
welcome.
my some of them were kind of tough questions, but I appreciate your transparency. So
No
now
problem.
we've made it to the fun part of the interview. It's a
This whole
game
interview
that
was fun.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. So here's just a quick questionnaire, this or that. It's supposed
Hmm.
to be off the top. So whatever question or answer that comes into your head, that's the one that you should give first. Okay, you ready?
Okay, sure.
Instagram or YouTube?
Instagram.
Okay. Do you have a YouTube channel by any chance?
Not yet, but people keep on telling me you should make a YouTube. So yes, that's coming in like the next week or two. So
Oh,
stay
okay. All
tuned.
right. Exclusive. So we have two
Yes.
exclusive guys. She's coming out with the clothing brand and she's dropping her YouTube channel soon.
Yes.
Um, the next one is heels or sneakers.
Heels. Heels
Okay.
for sure.
I don't think I've ever seen you wear sneakers.
That yeah, so I think I posted sneakers like 3 times. What's funny is that okay, so I don't necessarily wear heels all the time. I actually wear sneakers more than heels, but the reason why I picked heels is that heels are just so much fun. And if you were to look at my collection of like over 200 pairs of shoes, majority of them are heels. I don't have that many sneakers because sneakers to me are like whatever. I don't get excited by sneakers. But
All
heels, there's
right.
so many different shapes, colors, trims, accents. They're a lot more fun than sneakers to me.
Mhm. I would have to agree on some days. With the quarantine, it's tough. I
Oh
don't know if
yeah.
my feet remember how to wear heels.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. High fashion or street fashion?
Mm. Ooh, that's hard. Uh, high fashion.
Okay.
I
What's
say
your favorite brand?
my favorite brand, hands down, is Saint Laurent. Just because I think that they not like they're luxurious, but also edgy at the same time, and all around from like their bags, their shoes, their clothes. I just love all of it. And if you want to see some great shows, watch any of the Saint Laurent New York Fashion Week shows. I don't know who's on their creative team or their creative director, but like the visuals and everything is just amazing. So yeah, they're my favorite brand for sure.
Nice. And this is just a one-off question. If you
Hmm.
had the opportunity to, go in-house and work for one of these high fashion brands, is that something that you would consider?
Definitely. I would definitely consider it. I love being in collaborative environments, and then just being a part of something bigger has always been, on my to-do list to help collaborate and see what goes on behind the scenes. So yeah, I would definitely do that.
Nice. Okay, so this one, we'll see where your answer lies, but I think I may have an
Uh-oh.
idea. New
Okay.
York or Paris?
Dang it, you're asking all the hard ones. I thought you said this was fun. This is not fun. Making me pick. All right. Ooh, okay. I would say New York. Only because, dang. Yeah, only because, yeah, New York, I just love the hustle. I love the excitement. There are a lot of companies that have like headquarters here, so you'll see a lot of big events and big promotions and things going on in New York. Paris is amazing as well, but yeah, I only went there once, and it was during Fashion Week, but I feel like I didn't get to explore enough of it to say that I would live there or that I love it more than New York.
Okay. I think that's a good answer. You're paying taxes in New York, so you have to pick New York.
That is too funny.
Okay, so the next one is a scenario.
Hmm.
If you are an influencer with 10,000 followers with high engagement, or if you're an influencer with 1 million followers with intermediate engagement.
The 10K with high engagement, for sure, hands down. This is the one thing that I tell people that ask me about being an influencer or that are like apprehensive because they're like, I don't have that much following. The engagement rate is way more important than follower count. That is the thing that people or companies look at most because you can have a whole bunch of followers. They could be ghost followers, they could be followers that you paid for. But in terms of when somebody wants to work with you, they're going to look at what would their return on investment be. And if you have a whole bunch of followers that are not engaged with your content, that means nothing for that company versus if you have 10K followers but like half of them engage with your stuff, that's 5K people to engage with your content, which means more attention on that brand and more conversion for them. So definitely engagement is way more important. I take that any day over followers.
Okay. So the next one is TikTok or Reels.
I would say reels only because this generation, I'm like, on who made TikTok? Like, I feel like it should be easy to use, but I'm like, am I too old for this? I don't get it. So I would pick Reels over TikTok.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I just like to watch the TikToks, but the Reels, in terms of creating them, it seems to be a little bit
Yes,
more user friendly.
it definitely is. Definitely.
Okay, two more. Phone
Hmm.
call or text.
Mm, I would say text. Sometimes I don't like talking on the phone. I
I
can't sit for
understand.
real.
I'm
Like,
the
leave
same
me
way.
alone. But you can shoot me a text and I'll answer you like 3 hours later. But yeah, no.
All right, and the last one is whenever you get a chance to go on vacation, do you prefer a beach vacation or a city vacation?
Beach all day. I live next to the city, so you just need a break. I wouldn't go from city to another city. Beach, somewhere where you could like, get a tan. Yes, black girls tan, get a nice little glow, the water, relaxation, quiet and calm. I'm all for it.
Nice. All right, Amanda. So that concludes the interview. And you have reached a record with Just Win with Wanda. This is the longest interview I've ever had.
Oh, dang,
So
you saying I talk a lot.
so that means that it was just so much fun and time just went by very quickly. So I
It
appreciate your
did.
time. I appreciate your insights, your expertise. I think you're very
Thank
knowledgeable
you.
about the whole space. And I mean, hopefully you consider, creating some sort of course or using more platforms to educate and people that are interested in taking on this role because you did such a great job explaining
Thank
everything.
you. Yes, that is on the way to 2021. You guys will see definitely e-courses and digital books and things like that. So be on the lookout.
Nice, nice. And we have a lot of things to be on the lookout for you. You dropped so many exclusives as well, and we appreciate that. But
Thank
we'll be sure to support you. And for the last
you.
time, if you don't mind telling the folks how they can get in contact with you or follow you.
Sure. So if you guys want to find me on Instagram, I'm just Amanda Finesse, Finesse. My website is amandafinesse.com. You can reach me through DMs or email at info@amandafinesse.com.
Perfect. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Now, let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or laptop. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Also, what's really interesting is that you can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Just Win with Wanda. And special thanks to our guest, Amanda Finesse, for joining us. Show this podcast love by leaving a review and hitting subscribe today. If you would like to reach out to me, follow me on Instagram at Just Win with Wanda. Catch you on the next episode. Bye.